Welcome on board a transatlantic crossing on the world's only remaining ocean liner. This is the Queen Mary 2. Over the next 8 days, we'll cross the Atlantic Ocean from the UK to New York. Along the way, you'll explore this massive ship, see inside our luxurious penthouse suite, and best of all, discover how to spend 8 days at sea without getting bored.
It's a black tie occasion, and you're coming along.
We'll leave Southampton and sail overnight to Le Havre in France, where we'll disembark for a day before beginning our transatlantic crossing. After crossing through the ocean, covering more than 3,500 miles, if everything goes according to plan, we'll pull into New York 8 days later.
Hello, Jet Setters. I'm Jeb Brooks from greenergrass.com. Why take 8 hours to cross the Atlantic when we can take 8 days on board the world's only remaining ocean liner? This is Queen Mary 2, the most luxurious way to cross the Atlantic.
Thanks to that super exclusive penthouse we booked, we were able to board the ship earlier than most, which was good. We needed time to settle in. After all, this is our first cruise ever. And we quickly learned it's a crossing, not a cruise.
Whoa. This is unbelievable. This is on a ship. This is crazy.
And we'll have plenty of time to explore this massive penthouse.
Oh my gosh. Look at this. Unbelievable.
This is gigantic, like probably double the size of my first apartment.
This is incredible. I can't believe we're about to cross the Atlantic Ocean on board this.
We weren't about to complain about the chocolates and champagne here, too. Soon, we'll explore the entire ship, but for now, we headed all the way up to deck 13 for the best view we could find.
The scale is really hard to communicate, but if this gives you any idea of how high we are, those little dots down there, those are all cars.
Are you gonna take a dip?
It's gonna be a little chilly in the North Atlantic, I think. A little too cold for a swim.
Queen Mary 2 was christened in 2004 and carries 2,691 passengers, along with another 1,173 officers and crew.
It's about time to leave. We're getting out of here in about 10 minutes. This is so exciting. There's just this sense of anticipation that doesn't exist on a rail journey or even a plane journey.
And there's no better way to say goodbye on this sail away than with a champagne toast. The captain and his crew got us off the dock right on time. We were on our way.
I've been feeling really anxious and nervous all day. This is just a completely different experience than anything we've ever done before. But now that we're underway, I'm feeling pretty good. Maybe it's the champagne though.
We've just left the port of Southampton. The Isle of Wight is right next to us. And we're sailing out. This is such an exciting moment. I feel connected to my ancestors who did this, 200 years ago. I feel very fortunate to be able to have it and to share it with you.
As you may know, journeys with Cunard are more formal than on other cruise lines. There's a strictly enforced dress code on board. During the day, it's more relaxed, but things go up a notch at night. Now, most nights, like tonight, we were asked to wear smart casual, which they define as a dress shirt and trousers, a skirt and a top, or a cocktail dress. However, on 2 nights, everyone went all out, as we all wore black tie.
We're not fancy, I swear.
You can tell because we don't know how to film this. Like, cool YouTubers would have like this on the ground and they'd like be able to frame themselves up in the thing. All right, we're going to dinner now.
Because of the room we're in, that penthouse that we'll show you soon, we ate in the Queen's Grill. I'll share more about how dining works a little later, but suffice it to say, the food is world class. From caviar to fresh salads and perfectly prepared beef, everything was top-notch.
But I don't know if I can eat like that for 8 days in a row.
That's not going to happen.
Or would it?
I think a central theme of your time here on the Queen Mary 2 is hearing dogs barking upstairs.
You see, Queen Mary 2 also has kennels for passengers who want to travel with their pets. But after a full day, we went to sleep. When we wake up tomorrow, we'll be in France.
Good morning from Le Havre. Le Havre. I don't speak French. It was a little bit of a rough night, first night of sleep here on board. I think we're getting used to it, which takes some time, of course. And also, the last thing I want to do in the world is complain, but this clock it's a little loud. It's a little loud and makes this clunking noise every 30 seconds, which can kind of be a little challenging to sleep. This is our first day waking up on the boat, our only day where we can get off the ship until we get to New York. So we're looking forward to exploring a little bit of France from here in Le Havre. Le Havre. Le Havre.
Before we left, I unplugged the clock. I hope to remember to plug it back in when we leave. Anyway, we headed out to explore a bit of Normandy.
Here we are in Etretat in France. This is the last time we're gonna see any land for a little while, right?
Our feet are on solid ground for the last time for like 7 days.
So
Weird feeling.
somewhere out there is our destination.
New York, here we come.
Seems like a popular spot with tourists, but definitely a nice little town. I'd come back.
Back on board, we decided to explore the ship, and there's a lot here. It really did take us a few days to get our bearings and understand exactly how to move around it.
I'm overwhelmed.
It's there's a lot of boat here.
This like map thing, I'm gonna be that like dork carrying this map around with me for the next 8 days.
Well, hopefully by maybe like day 7 we'll have it down.
It's a lot to take in.
And that means it's time for the Queen Mary 2 ship tour. Toward the middle of Deck 2, you'll find the Britannia restaurant where most passengers eat. Of course, we'll be discussing dining on board Queen Mary 2 in just a bit. Just in front of the Britannia is the Golden Lion pub, which, as you'd expect, feels a lot like a British pub. Further forward, you'll encounter this 2-story grand lobby, which was a convenient meeting place and offered a sense of occasion at all times, but particularly on our black tie gala nights. This was also home to the casino, and if you gambled too hard, the purser's office too. Head forward again, and you'll find the Royal Court Theatre, a space for lectures by day and live theater by night. If you make your way all the way to the very front of Deck 2, you'll find the Business Center with computers. Internet access is available for a fee, but more on that later.
You'll also find plaques like this one with information about the history of Cunard and maritime history for that matter too.
Up on Deck 3, you'll find Illuminations, the very first planetarium at sea. And a short walk back to that grand lobby will reveal the ship's shopping mall. Here you can find luxury goods like watches, jewelry for sale, along with essentials. And of course, plenty of souvenirs. Right off the grand lobby is the champagne bar for bubbles and the chart room for cocktails. Make your way back and you'll find the upper level of the Britannia restaurant, along with an art gallery. After that, you'll find the Queen's Room, where there was nearly nightly dancing, especially on gala nights. And if you make your way all the way to the back of Deck 3, you'll find G32, a nightclub. It gets its name from the ship's hull's number. Decks 4, 5, and 6 are mostly made up of guest accommodations.
You'll even find places to do your laundry on board if you're staying for a while.
And it was Deck 7 that really began to feel like our favorite place.
Deck 7 is really the bustling heartbeat of the ship. So many lounges, the buffet, there's a lot going on.
It's here you'll find the Princess and Queen's Grills restaurants, the Grills Lounge, the King's Court Buffet, the Corinthia Lounge, a great place for afternoon tea, along with the spa and the gym. But the best part of Deck 7 has to be the promenade. Each lap around this walking track is a third of a mile, and it felt like everyone on board came out here at least once a day. Also on Deck 7, all the way forward, you'll find the Commodore's cufflinks. These massive structures are actually spare propeller blades for the ship's propulsion system. They're kept on board because you can't exactly find them on the shelf at the local hardware store at some port. Upstairs on Deck 8, you'll find the onboard library.
Largest library at sea with something like 8,000 books.
And it's growing as many passengers leave books they've finished reading on the ship. Suzanne checked out a book for the crossing, but if you'd rather buy one, there's also a bookstore next door. Head upstairs one more deck to number 9, and you'll encounter
Commodore Club has got to be my favorite place on the ship.
This lounge has a great view out the front of the ship. It's a wonderful place to watch time go by. Up on Deck 10, you'll find our room, toward the aft of the ship. On Deck 11, the observation deck was unfortunately often closed because of winds during our crossing. But when it was open, it offered commanding views of the Atlantic Ocean. But at the aft of Deck 11, you can check out Grill's Terrace, which offers a great view off the back of the ship. On Deck 12, pet owners can make their way to the back of the ship and visit their furry friends in the kennels at designated times each day. Up here, you'll also find the pavilion pool and bar. That's just one of 5 swimming pools on board. And all the way up, on Deck 13, is the sun deck and the sports centers. But enough about that.
It's time for dinner.
We stopped into the Grills Lounge for cocktails and canapes. The quality of the food on board is truly world-class, and we'll see even more of it as we continue the crossing. I'll show you all the places you can eat across Queen Mary 2, and this beef consommé and salmon was just one of the 21 multi-course meals we enjoyed along this journey. We left Le Havre behind, which also meant we were well and truly heading to sea. The next time we'll see land will be in New York in a week. It's hard to believe this trip, which normally takes 7 hours, will take us 7 more days. Are we going to get bored? Only time will tell.
It'll be a while till we see that again.
We sailed toward the setting sun and enjoyed a great night of sleep, mostly because the clock was unplugged.
Well, it is now about 8:30 in the morning, and we are ready to get this day started.
Booking rooms on Queen Mary 2 was confusing to me, but I finally figured it out. There are 3 broad categories: Britannia, Princess Grill, and Queen's Grill. The categories are named for the restaurants where you'll dine. The standard Britannia rooms are around 200 square feet. Now, passengers in the Grill suites, that's both Queen's and Princess, have larger rooms that range from 300 square feet all the way up to more than 2,000. We'll get into pricing before we disembark, from the cheapest room all the way up to the most expensive accommodation on the whole ship. But for now, every fare includes accommodation, all meals and afternoon tea, as well as onboard entertainment. Now, it's important to note that guests in the Grill suites also receive a number of other benefits too, from private reserved tables in the restaurants, which are available whenever you want to dine, to priority embarkation and disembarkation, along with fresh flowers and fruit in your room. Queen's Grill guests also receive 2 bottles of whatever spirits they may want, and our minibar was replenished daily with soft drinks, bottled water, and beers. We even had a dedicated butler and steward who were available to us anytime. This seems like the right time for a room tour. Let's check out our Queen's Grill penthouse.
Hey, come on in. Welcome to our penthouse on the seas. This place is massive. It's about 760 square feet. There's a lot to see, but let me show you around. First of all, there's this dining room here, which is going to be a great place for some room service at some point. We've also got a bar, so there's a place to store our drinks and our coffee and stuff like that. This is the first of 2 bathrooms in this place. How great is that? Not 1, but 2. Now, over here is the living room, and this is a great place to hang out. This sofa is super comfortable, great place to watch television. And speaking of television, there are all kinds of movies on all the time. There's live sports and news going on as well. And there's a channel that has an update about weather and a map showing our locations. We're making our progress across the Atlantic Ocean here. Now, I want to take you outside. This is probably my favorite spot just because of the views that it affords. Now, I said this is 760 square feet, but there's also another 200 square feet out here. Come on. Check this out. I'm not sure there's anything quite as relaxing as just chilling out here and watching the sea go by. Now, let me show you the bedroom. We're here for 8 nights, and so this bed has got to be comfortable, and it is. It's super comfortable. There's also another television in here. And speaking of being comfortable, let me show you this. I'm not sure I've ever seen this. This is a walk-in closet on a ship, and we've moved in for sure. Like I said, 8 days is a long time, so it's nice to settle in here completely. Now, I said earlier that first bathroom was the first. This is going to blow your mind. This second bathroom, look at this. I can't believe this. It has not 1, but 2 showers in it. We have 2 showers and a jacuzzi tub. Now, there is no question in my mind that this has got to be one of the most incredible ways to pass over the Atlantic Ocean, without a doubt. Absolutely incredible. But it's not all pleasure here. I've been working at this desk like crazy. I've been editing not 1 but 2 videos for the channel. So if you haven't subscribed yet, I hope you will, because we've got tons more adventures like this coming your way.
Remember our butler? Well, every day he brought canapes before dinner, which was a good reminder that it's time to get ready. Tonight's our first black tie dinner, and they're serious about the dress code here. Just about everyone puts on their dinner clothes, including me. thanks to a last-minute London shopping spree.
When did you buy this outfit?
I bought all of this 48 hours ago? Yeah, 48 hours ago this became mine. I have not worn a tuxedo in a long time.
No clip-ons here at greenergrass.com.
It's the first Gala Night on board. Tonight's theme is black and white.
That's convenient if you're a guy, because a tuxedo is, in fact, black and white.
Yeah, it's a really festive atmosphere on board today, so I'm super excited about what the evening brings. On a Gala Night, ladies should wear a ball gown, cocktail dress, or formal septums.
And guys should wear a dinner jacket, tuxedo, or dark suit.
Of course, if formal dress isn't your thing, there are some food outlets on the ship where you can wear casual clothes tonight.
You can also rent a tuxedo on board if you need to, but I wanted to be ready for another Cunard trip, just in case you like this video. We both had salad in the Chateaubriand.
I just yawned, but we can't go to bed yet. It's Gala Night. Or is it Gala? But you are not fancy. 10:30 p.m. We are up late. First Gala Night, what'd you think?
That was a lot of fun. I was a little nervous about the whole thing. I don't dress up. I don't do like this whole like classy living thing much. But it was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
It was very festive. We even got on the dance floor a little bit.
Yeah, we busted a move.
Can't help it when you're all dressed up, really. Gotta make the most of your evening.
But for now, it's time for another night on the seas.
By day 4, we'd fallen into a nice routine, which means this is a great opportunity to show you 24 hours on board Queen Mary 2.
As we were preparing for this trip, I gotta tell you, I was a little nervous that I'd be bored, that there wouldn't be enough to do. But the fact of the matter is, there is always something going on in this ship. They keep you very busy. Every day we get one of these daily programs that's just chock full of activities. There's really no way to be bored on this ship.
From music to bridge classes, not to mention trivia and even language lessons, and of course lectures on everything from how the ship operates to the history of timekeeping, there really was something to do from sunup to sundown.
It's 9:15 a.m., done with breakfast, time to head out to the walking track for a little exercise. So we're bundled up, ready to go. Each lap around is 1/3 of a mile. Surprisingly, it's not that cold out here. It's a little bit windy, but not too chilly.
It's 11 a.m. and I'm knocking out a little bit of work. I'm editing a video for the channel.
About 12:30, we decided it was time for lunch, so we made our way to the buffet.
It's time for a little taste of home. 1 p.m. Afternoon coffees.
1:30 p.m., attend a lecture.
I think I need a haircut. It's time.
And so at 2:30, I snagged a haircut.
It's 3 o'clock. Time for the footy.
4:30 p.m., time to hit the spa. It's massage time.
7 o'clock.
Off to dinner.
Let's go.
And yet again, Queen Mary 2's chefs amazed us. Tomorrow, we'll go into more detail about how dining works and your options on board.
8 p.m., going to a show.
9 p.m., time for a nightcap. It's 10:30 p.m. after a jam-packed day at sea. It's time for bed. Let's call it a day. Good night.
5 of our days on board were not really 24 hours long, but instead were 25 hours. Because when traveling westbound, the ship's clock is put back at 2 o'clock in the morning to reach Eastern Time before arriving in New York.
Here on Queen Mary 2, there are 3 main restaurants, and where you eat depends on which room you're in, which room type you're in, I suppose. I've heard these be equated to, economy class, business class, and first class, but I think everything on Queen Mary 2 is first class, so I'm not sure that really applies. Most passengers eat in Britannia, and there you'll have an assigned time to eat. Other passengers are invited to eat in Princess Grills, or like us, in Queen's Grill, where you can go whenever you'd like.
Our main restaurant is here in the Queen's Grill, but there are so many other choices on board.
There's the Golden Lion Pub, or of course the buffet, and you can find food in other spots around the ship as well. Dining is not a problem on this ship.
The food was plentiful and delicious.
What have you thought of the food on board?
It has been so delicious. Everything has had really amazing flavors, a lot of complexity. It's more fine dining than really I'm used to.
It is a lot of food for sure. I feel like all we do all day is eat sometimes, but that's why you find me out on the track walking.
Or using the stairs.
The food on board is all included except for if you dine at restaurants with a supplement, What I really want to talk about is drinks, though. We got comped a drink package with our room. They must have been having a promotion or something. But in general, drinks are priced kind of similar to what you'd find in a restaurant. A glass of wine might be between $8 and $12. Cocktail might be around $12. Beers, $6. Coffee or soda around $3. So, comparable to a restaurant in the U.S.
The breakfast menu in Queen's Grill was the same every morning with a wide range of options. Lunch was typically 4 courses, and dinner, the main event, was often 6. These menus were also put into our room each day so we could plan what we wanted to eat before we arrived, and that also gave us the opportunity to go somewhere else in the rare event that nothing looked appealing.
We were told that on a transatlantic crossing, you're guaranteed 2 things: good weather and bad weather, and the bad weather has set in today. It's pretty foggy and miserable and just rainy out there, but it's pretty comfortable in here.
Despite that weather, it was another busy day at sea. We listened to a lecture by the ship's architect about Queen Mary 2, where we learned that the ship's funnel had to be designed to pass under New York's Verrazano Narrows Bridge. At high tide, there's only 9 feet of clearance. And that experience, passing into New York Harbor on the last day, proved to be the single most emotional travel experience we've ever had. From there, though, we enjoyed another tasty lunch.
This is so good, so fresh, light, delicious.
And even played British bingo.
I've never played British bingo before. This is gonna be new.
Despite our best efforts and Suzanne's unique bingo playing skills, we did not win. Instead, we just enjoyed the afternoon.
Seasickness and rough seas were one of my major worries before coming on this trip. The weather has picked up. Before this, it was relatively flat and calm most of the time, but the waves are really kicking in. I got these little wristband guys, took some seasickness medicine, so I'm doing all right. But in general, this ship is built for it, so we'll see what happens.
She's not kidding around. I mean, this door, look at this.
Queen Mary 2 is not a cruise ship, but an ocean liner, the last one in the world, in fact. And that means she has enhanced strength, speed, and stability to combat the challenges of regularly crossing the North Atlantic Ocean, which she's now done more than 300 times. Now, those enhancements added about 40% to the total cost of the ship. In fact, when it was all said and done, she cost close to $1 billion.
One of the most amazing things about Queen's Grill is you can have pretty much whatever you want for food. They've got all kinds of special order items like Chateaubriand or beef Wellington or lobster thermidor, the most amazing food you can imagine. Now, we mentioned in passing to our maitre d' that we really like Mediterranean food, and he's organized a complete Turkish dinner for us tonight.
I'm completely disconnected from the internet. I have no connection to the real world, but Suzanne does, and she just told me the channel has just crossed 100 million views. That is incredible, and I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you.
Riding high on that incredible news, we started with salads before the maitre d' showed us the ingredients that would go into our special dinner. He then went about preparing it all tableside. This was incredible. Veal with spices and yogurt. One of my favorite meals ever.
This is one of the most amazing meals I've ever had in my life.
And no better way to top it off than with baklava.
And after another great night of sleep, it is time to start yet another day at sea. We've turned south, making our way a little closer to our final destination of New York, but that does not mean this journey is over by any stretch.
Walking the stairs is a way of life on this ship. We usually choose to take the stairs rather than the elevator to get some exercise in. We walked up to like 40 flights of stairs in a single day.
In addition to all those steps, we'll be getting our dance moves on tonight too. It's another gala evening.
There's something like 5,000 pieces of art spread throughout the ship.
When many people think of transatlantic crossings, one famous ship comes to mind. In the early 1990s, Cunard's business was floundering. But in 1997, when a certain Kate Winslet movie came out, things suddenly looked up as interest in crossing the Atlantic by ship surged. Now, one thing worth noting, things are much safer now than they were in 1912. Our ship is the size of 3 Titanics and stays 60 miles south of the southernmost iceberg sightings. The ship was buzzing as everyone on board was anticipating tonight's gala and our impending arrival into New York. And outside, the weather was a world away from what we'd experienced yesterday. It was beautiful. And like all of the rest of the days on Queen Mary 2, time flew by.
I think it's time to pop the champagne.
Woo!
Nothing but the best. People don't know. This is a really hard job. I mean, a really hard job. Cheers. Thanks for watching.
Cheers.
We wouldn't be here without you. Seriously. You make it happen. Thank you. I'm not sure I've ever had a transportation experience as moving, frankly, as this.
It's time to class up this joint, grain of grass style.
And that class came on quickly with cocktails, a beautiful salad, and beef Wellington, prepared perfectly. As nice as the formal dancing in the Queen's Room was, we thought the silent disco in G32 was more our speed. In here, everyone wears headphones and can choose from 3 channels that the ship's DJ was spinning. Suzanne started with today's hits. I first went for the oldies, but we've both ended up jamming to the Latin channel.
We are getting close to New York now. This is the last full day at sea. Time to get it started. Let's get another day underway.
I didn't end up having much time to read. Time to return this book. It's our last day at sea, and here it is, my favorite place on the boat. It's this corridor here.
It really does offer one of the best views on the ship.
So internet is available here on the ship for purchase. I chose not to get it. I wanted a digital detox for this week.
I signed up for the basic entry-level plan, and it's just fast enough to do some email, texting, that kind of stuff. All I really need.
Well, that's good, but I've enjoyed being completely disconnected. So if you left a comment for the week we've been on board, I'll get to you. Sorry.
Room service is all included, so let's give it a try. Time to order some lunch.
Today we've decided to have room service. It's available 24 hours a day to anyone on the ship, and it's included in your fare. So this delicious meal brought right to our room at no extra cost. The quality of the food on board has been just unbelievable. Everything has been truly first class.
The ship slowed significantly on this penultimate day. These waters are definitely busier, but I think Queen Mary 2 surely could make this trip in less time if she needed to.
It's kind of a weird, bittersweet vibe today, this final day of our crossing. It's sad that the journey is coming to an end, but also the anticipation is building for seeing that New York skyline.
The rest of the day, we enjoyed exploring even more of the ship. Even on this last day, we found a whole new restaurant we didn't know about, the Veranda Steakhouse. As for us, though, we enjoyed our last dinner in Queen's Grill and took in one final sunset before setting our alarm for 3 a.m. the next day. It was a big one.
And that's our last night. We've just packed up. Got to leave the bags out in the hallway. They'll take them down and we'll pick them up in the cruise terminal. We've got an early morning tomorrow. We want to see a little bit of New York, so it's time for bed. Good night.
It is 3:23 in the morning, and we can see New York. We're almost there, so we've gotten up super early in order to watch us sail under the Verrazano Narrows Bridge. Unbelievable.
It feels surreal. wow, this is amazing.
Incredible. I mean, it feels like such a sense of accomplishment. I mean, we didn't do anything except eat and enjoy ourselves, but having, passed under the Verrazano Narrows Bridge, it just feels like amazing.
Like, what a greeting after 7 days at sea. Like, amazing.
100%.
4 a.m. champagne, because why not? Welcome home.
When flying across the Atlantic is so much faster and often even less expensive, why choose Queen Mary 2?
This experience is one of the most unbelievable I've ever had, and I thank you so much for watching these videos and making it possible for us to have experiences like this. I feel connected in a way to my ancestors who made this journey many years ago, albeit probably not in quite as much luxury as this.
Ready to book your own adventure like this? Well, as always, the best way to find your price is to visit the Cunard website to check dates, availability, and routes. The best tip we can give you, though, is to book early. This ship fills fast. That said, you can have your own transatlantic crossing for as little as $1,000 per person in the most basic inside-facing cabin during winter. Or you could book an entry-level Princess Grill room for around $4,000 per person, and Queen's Grill rooms start at about $5,000 per person. Of course, you could go all out and book the biggest suite on the ship for around $32,000. That's more than 2,000 square feet spread across 2 levels. Every fare includes accommodation, all meals and afternoon tea, onboard entertainment, and endless views. However, drinks, internet access, spa treatments, and other extras are not included. But like any once-in-a-lifetime experience, it is not just about the price.
Nowadays we zip across the Atlantic in 6 or 7 hours and it just feels like nothing. But when you cross the Atlantic in 6 or 7 days, it definitely makes you feel something. And, it should feel like a journey. It should feel like an occasion. These distances we cover, there should be a reminder other than jet lag. What a trip.
Between now and the next time, see you on the sea.
I mean, the problem with this video is the blooper reel is going to be longer than the video.
3rd day on this boat, still discovering new places. Nothing but the vast, inky blue.
Putting the cufflink on for your dominant hand is always a challenge, particularly when your wife is filming you, which means she can't help. But I got it done.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't.
I'm too old for that.
It's time for dinner.
Did you just kiss the audience? That's right.
We're not fancy.
Wow, that was way more than just a haircut. There were lotions and potions and creams. I think at one point maybe there were cucumbers on my eyes. I don't know.
Walking the stairs is a way of life on this boat. It's a good way to get some exercise in, and also, I forgot, also, to get a little exercise in, and also, there's some coming.
Better plug this back in. Getting ready to leave.